All right, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of Gar Capital. It is Wednesday, July 10th, 2024. Glad to be with you this morning. Every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on our YouTube channel. Make sure to turn on notifications, subscribe to our channel. Really would appreciate the support of the channel and like these videos if you like them. Glad to be with you. Let's go ahead and get started. What you see in front of you is our live market blog. Scrolling on the bottom of your screen is how to join the free live market blog. All the news and information you need really throughout the day. Only the important stuff. We're not going to just throw just whatever in there, just the good stuff. So, again, that's always free. We'd love to have you on board. And let's go ahead and get to it. Dow futures are up 16 points. NASDAQ's up 77 points. Thank you, Taiwan Semiconductor, for beating earnings. That means NVIDIA went up, AMD's up. S&P 500 futures up about a quarter point. I talked about the NASDAQ up 74. S&P and NASDAQ, new all-time highs will be at the open. Russell is up 0.46%. That's starting to move as well. 10-year Treasury yields, we have a 10-year bond auction, I believe, today. Let's go and take a look at the schedule. Yep, we have a 10-year bond auction at 1 p.m. So TNX should change. We'll take a look at that here in a second. Dollar index is down 0.10%, 105.02. The VIX is down 12.48, down 0.24%. Crude taking a step back, down 0.27%, 81.19. Gasoline futures down about 1%. And this is with the heavy driving season. Imagine that. Gold futures up 0.72%, 23.85. Silver is up 0.80. Copper is up 0.55%. In Forex land, nothing really stands out today. Bitcoin is slightly up, 58,450. We talked about how I expect Bitcoin to move higher throughout the week. I expect 60K by the end of the week. I expect CPI to be a positive or bullish for the market. Not because the CPI is going to be super, super soft, but because we're still in that seasonality, guys. It's just what it is. First 2 weeks of July, it's just bullish. Doesn't matter what's on the table. We've seen it with these charts, man. It's just buying the dip and it just keeps going higher. Ethereum 3128 up 1.69% this morning. All right. I had a question this morning on the server about Disney. So I want to answer that question quickly or right now. Okay, so we are below the 200 day. We know the saying, nothing good happens below the 200 day. Said that before. My target is 92.18. The problem is that there's not enough volume to short this thing or to trade this. So I still keep this target here, 92.08, 92.80, excuse me, and we're going to use the 200-day 99.30 as your resistance. But until I get actual options volume, there's not much we can do there. So I'll place another alert below the lows at 96.10. If that does happen, then we can revisit and see if there's any options volume. That's really all we can do there. But yes, it does look like we're going to get lowered right down here to 92.80. That's what we're looking for. There is a gap to fill here at 84.98, 85. So that is also a concern, but you got to get to 92.80 first. So the 93 puts, 94 puts, maybe the 95 puts will have the volume. Again, if we actually get it, and this just hasn't been any. Disney doesn't get tons of volume all the time. It's a tough one to trade. You really have to catch it right in a sense. Let's take a look at some of the names I'm watching. I have NVIDIA calls, as you know, starting to push higher. I talked about this on our watch list and charts for our members. Let's go and look back at it. Yesterday was a little quiet because of Powell, as we know. So a lot of stuff, was moving and shaking. So what I decided to do for our options members was to kind of send out the charts again and what we're looking at and what we have. NVIDIA. I talked about still above the 20-day DMA and the break level is 130. We're back above it. This was at 132.46 when I took the photo. We are now at 133.95, so we are higher. We fully expect to get to 141 to all-time highs. And again, I do expect CPI to be a positive for the market tomorrow. I expect Thursday and Friday to be bullish. It doesn't mean that we need to go all in on something. No, again, just the expectations. Said this in the beginning of July. First 2 weeks, seasonality, strong markets, strong tech. That's really it. That's really all you got to look at this point. Let's take a look at AMD rather quickly. AMD just needs to get above 180.33. It is holding this level of support that I have here at around 174.53. That was my breakout level, 175, and we got in. But again, a little higher because we confirmed we got into this Monday before close. And then Tuesday, we had this crappy, choppy tape. We had a nice push in the morning, and then it pulled back, and then it bounced off that pretty much perfect level of support. We'll take a look at the 4-hour to give us a little more context. Again, you guys remember back in June, I played this breakout and I got reversed on. We finally cleared it, pulled back. We used that level of resistance as our new support, and it bounced rather perfectly. So again, TSM, thank you very much, Taiwan Semiconductor. 180 is coming, and we'll get to 185 possibly by the end of the week. That's what I'm looking at, maybe at 184 or so. Palantir. Palantir is a name that I've been watching for a while, and it's been very, very good to us. Choppy yesterday, kind of the same deal like AMD, retesting that level. Now we're just hugging it. The thing with Palantir is that it has two. That's two levels that we have to take a look at. The support or the resistance back from March, those highs, we retested it since we broke out of it. We just got to hold that. That's all. Second level of support is the highs from June, which we rejected, and the highs from May, which we rejected. So we're going to have to use this level here as kind of our shaded area of support. So worst case scenario, we're kind of hanging around here, kind of bleeding premiums, but I have it for August, the Palantir calls. So again, I still expect Palantir to move higher. If we go ahead and expand it again, there is a gap to fill here at 31.38. I fully expect that to move higher. Remember, Palantir is not part of the S&P. Palantir is not part of the NASDAQ 100. It's part of this, the Russell. Take a look at the Russell. Let's take a look at the weekly. If you see, I went ahead and redid some charts because I really wanted to see at a point of if there's anything that stood out in terms of maybe some momentum. Because Russell, relative to the S&P 500, especially the NASDAQ, is at a very low point. So what I expect is a rotation or a catch-up where the small caps are going to catch up to the mega caps. Not in terms of relative value. NVIDIA is not going to be worth the same as the Russell. NVIDIA will be worth more. The point I'm trying to make is that you're going to see a rotation of money rather than a flight out of it. So you'll start seeing some profit taking, I believe, post July 18th. That's what Goldman thinks. I said the 19th. That's OPEX day. And we'll start seeing the Russell get a little more action, small caps. The names that have been left behind, those are going to be playing catch up. So we're going to see a wider market breadth, meaning more stocks are going to be joining in the upside move, not just the concentrated Mag 7, which is the mega caps, Apple's, Microsoft's, NVIDIA's, those names. It can't just be those guys. So taking a look at RTY, we're going to go to the weekly. Again, kind of give us an expanded view. Take a look at this. Rising wedge there, and you also got a flag. I believe, this is what I think, that tomorrow with the CPI number, we're going to break out. Yes, break out on RTY to get us back to right around 2,200, even possibly higher, 2,267. Doesn't mean we need to do IWM today. But if you are a futures trader, we're watching this level closely, 2078 to 2080. If we break that, I think we have more room to go. You may have to swing it because remember, this is a weekly chart, but I do expect Russell to catch some bids tomorrow, hopefully a little sooner. There goes AMD. Lovely. Hello. I know we got questions. Hold on. AMD is going. Let's rock. NVIDIA about to break too. Let's take a look at Amazon. So again, Russell 2078, that might be a swing. So anyone that's trading same day, this might be a little tougher, but someone who can hold the futures trades, that's going to be a nice one in my opinion. Let's take a look at the daily on Amazon. New all-time highs again. Whoa, all right, how surprising, right? So we're going to go to our pointer. We're going to go to the 1-hour chart. And you can see just kind of slowly melting up higher, guys. Amazon's going to go higher. That, to me, it's just pretty much set in stone. The only concern, if there is one, is possibly a trend line resistance. Possibly. But even that's at 208. So, even if we were going just by this trend line here and not this wedge breakout, which we were talking about, and that's why we got in and we've been doing very well with Amazon, we still got more room to go, guys. So if you are not a bull, you're going to hate life for about another couple of days. If you're a bear, be patient because you'll get your opportunity. You'll get some kind of pullback here and there. It's just inevitable, guys. All right, we got a ton of questions. Good. All right. Good morning. Caterpillar. Let's take a look at it. Caterpillar is chop, chop. Not much to do here. It's just nothing. Nothing to do here at this point. 328, it is up, yes, but it doesn't even have a ton of volume. I think you need to get above 360 before we do anything on this. Then you could target the highs, but you're still just kind of consolidating at the most part. Good morning. Thoughts on C calls through earnings was part of my watch list. It is up this morning. I did not trade it because of earnings. So we do have CPI tomorrow. Yes, I am bullish with CPI. And it is the breakout, but 67.24 is the target. I think we're maybe a little too close to there. This is a name that I've been watching and trying to trade for months now, and it's just been slow rolling. Finally, we're getting the move. But with earnings coming up, I say it's best just to sit it out now. The move looks like it's already baked in. Watch it soar on Friday. last words. So Citibank above 67.24 is a breakout, but again, you're paying extra because of implied volatility. So I'd say, my opinion, let's wait for Monday. Monday, we'll see where Citibank goes after Friday's earnings. I don't want the premiums to get smoked on you. BITO going to move with Bitcoin. Yeah, well, traded it and it's just not much going on. It is holding support as I expected. I do expect crypto, Bitcoin futures to hit 60K by the end of the week. I said that on Sunday. There's just no volume, man. I am so sorry. It sucks. And I really hate it, but there's just not much to trade here. So I think we'll get our opportunities with Bitcoin and crypto as we go, but I think there's better opportunities out there. BITO doesn't look that great. Mara hasn't even broken my alert. So what can you do? Let's take a look at Nike. I had a question with that with Investment Club, and Nike is an interesting one. And here's the quote that I love from Walter Deemer. When it's time to buy, you will not want to. You will not want to. When it's time to buy, you will not want to. That's the quote. We are near COVID lows. COVID lows. Remember lockdowns of economy, all that stuff 4 short years ago, but it happened. We couldn't even get toilet paper at that point. And Nike is trading at those levels. What has Nike done wrong? If anyone has ever used a sneakers app, it's very frustrating. It's a lottery system to get the shoes that you really want. What other company does that? Not many. Very coveted items, flipping, all that good stuff. Fine. But when your stock price is worth half of what you charge for an Air Force One sneaker, that seems to me that this is a little overdone, which is fair. But look at this name too. Another darling. McDonald's came back down too, breaking the 200-week MA. Does McDonald's have more to go? Possibly, maybe to 225. But again, we'll wait and see. But in terms of Nike, I think if you get to 68.15 right at the COVID lows or right near those COVID lows, I think it's worth a shot to add some shares. Absolutely. I believe in turnaround stories. Nike just needs to get their game right. You have Amazon as really the big competitor. Nike does not sell on Amazon. They will now. And that's really the issue. Amazon is eating everyone's lunch other than Walmart at that point. So Nike needs to figure it out a way to get either away from direct to consumer because it's not working with Sneakers app, or they need to go ahead and get some new styles or more coveted styles instead of the same Jordan in 10 million different colors. Fair enough. That's what they want to do. We know the supply chain issues back in 2022 and all that stuff. But 68.15, I think that's going to be the level where it gets interesting on Nike. And it may suck in the beginning, but Nike will never be worth zero. That's for sure. So think of it that way. Let's see. Hood. Hood, I have calls. Let's take a look at the chart. 1 hour chart. Let's go to the 4 hour. Give us a little bit more context. There we go. How is that? Pennant, whatever you want to call it, triangle, whatever. Broke out of it, pulled back. Boo. But it is green this morning. It was green yesterday. I expect us to get to 24 with this breakout. That's all. And it's a small cap, just like I said about R2Y. I am bullish into CPI. But yes, I believe Hood will break out to 24. We'll get paid. Morning, Carlos. Thought on Tesla. 269 key resistance, 20% up in a week. PSI on 4 hour chart, 87-ish. I think he meant RSI. Hitting overbought levels. What do you think short-term action is going to be? Ooh. Well, if you guys remember what we talked about in terms of Tesla, 260 was my alert level. And you can see there is a possibility of a double top. Just a possibility. Right there. We do have a gap here at 289. The question is, does that fill? We're way overbought, but you know what? Stocks can stay overbought longer than people can be solvent. This is a fact. If you really, really want to go for it, it's just expensive for signals. That's all. I still like Tesla. We've been saying Tesla since 140. But right here, if you can get above 266.08 and you buy some time on Tesla to 290, possibly 300, more than likely those are going to be the ones that are going to get the most volume. The problem is if you buy a lot of time and we pull back, your premiums are going to bleed. We also have a gap to fill at 231.49. Hear me out. Best bet, wait for that. Wait for this gap to fill. And it can happen. Again, quick, some profit taking. It happens. If we get above 280, God help us all, we're just going to have to soar. And that's okay because Tesla has a lot to go. we're still not close to all-time highs, guys. So talk about catch-up trade. NVIDIA is it. But it needs to fill this gap here at 290. And I do expect that it will. But short term, it's going to be a tough one. It's too expensive for the risk, in my opinion. We talked about Nike. Let's talk about PayPal. PayPal breaking down on that trend line below the 200. Tough. Got close to this gap fill. So what's really your next level of support? Right around 56 on PayPal. That's where it is. For long-term holds, Nike, I already talked about the level. PayPal 56 would be interesting for a possible dip buy. If we expand this out, let's see if we can see where the COVID lows are. Are we near it? We broke below the COVID lows. I would not touch PayPal until you actually get above that 82. It's better off just waiting for that. If that's the case, if not, you're going to try to catch something that you don't need to. Ryan says, I don't think so. I don't think so. What? I've been in some Avgo calls looking for 1800 to 1750. Let's see it. Yep. Only issue is a gap to fill below, but it's 1744 because of Taiwan Semiconductor. Yeah, 1770. That's going to be the break point right here. Get a possible small double top on the 1 hour. You get above there, you'll confirm to at least 1826. You're looking pretty good. Everyone thinking that all year, and it hasn't happened with IWM. 203.04 wall. It's just my opinion, Ryan. That's just my perspective. I mean, hey, not my first time I've been wrong. Been wrong many times. Meta and AMD, please. Meta, just expensive to trade. All-time highs. We've been here before. Same thing with Microsoft. It's kind of like it's tough to trade near all-time highs. So 48.26, I have a level of support. I'm just going to have to skip Meta for now until we get somewhere near there and get some kind of dip, which we will end of July. Overbought across indices on the weeklies. I expect that we move higher Thursday and Friday. If you want to short and you want to be bearish, give yourself an extra week. It's just the seasonality, I promise. Good morning, Carlos. Why does HD have an RSI MACD inverse correlation? I have no idea, to be quite honest. I have none. I don't even look at the MACD, to be honest. On the weekly, I can tell you that Home Depot is right on the 50. 340, 191 being support. But as of right now, it's just chop. Nice breakout, and you're just retesting the breakout. So if we go to the daily and you're kind of looking at a place where price is starting to settle or maybe just kind of hover around, it's right around here, 333, 335 or so. Thoughts on Starbucks? It's bouncing this morning, but broke down that trend line. Very similar to Nike. And you could see it. Oof. So I have an alert at 70.35. If that breaks, it's a short. That's really it. That's all we could do on Starbucks. And options are not the best. I mean, we did trade the bounce after earnings and we caught it. So Starbucks is possible, but I just think there's better opportunities out there for it. It just doesn't have the tons of vol. Thoughts on Dell. Well, you could see this really quick. Kind of an upward trend, yet we have a gap to fill here. Use 135 as your support. It is up this morning. Does it have options volume is the question. If you're just talking about the stock itself, there's a slight gap to fill 164. That'd be a pretty good target for the next 12 months. Top of the morning, glad to be back. Didn't have powers. Dave's Houston. Oh, shoot. Sorry about that, man. I hope you guys, everyone in Houston, our friends in Texas, are safe from that hurricane. Hurricanes suck, man. As a Floridian, been there many times. So I'm glad you're okay. Glad you're here. And let's make it a great Trading Wednesday. Powell's going to speak later today or at 10 a.m. Pretty much the same things he talked about yesterday. So I don't think there's too much to concern ourselves with in terms of what he'll say. We'll let the price action dictate us. AMD starting to move. Let's see what we get. Have a great rest of your morning, guys. I'll see you guys on the server. Cheers all.